Hello everyone and welcome to another Chelsea transfer news early video for you guys, where I speak about multiple reports, multiple links, a jam-packed video for you guys, loads to talk about, loads of reports. Michy Batshuayi potentially linked to Newcastle and West Ham for a reported £40 million. Going to be discussing all the publication reports and my thoughts, opinions. We speak about Erling Haaland and the opportunity that we had to sign him in January. Going to be speaking about the 3-year plan that Frank Lampard has dedicated and that ultimately secured and swayed Werner to come time for Chelsea, as well as Roman Abramovich's input. And going to be speaking about the Chilwell deal to potentially be off. Has that deal collapsed? I'm going to be speaking about when Timo Werner could finally be announced and finalised. Going to be speaking about all those reports in this video, so make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification and comment down below your thoughts and opinions on each topic that I do speak about. But without further ado, let's get straight. Now, starting off with the mega 3-year plan that Frank Lampard has outlaid to not only the Chelsea hierarchy, but to, incoming top tier signings such as your Ziyech and Werner. Now, the Chelsea's 3-year plan to overtake Liverpool and Manchester City. Now, when the Premier League was halted back in March, Chelsea were 4th in the table. In Frank Lampard's first season in the dugout, Chelsea are 3 points clear of Man United in 5th, while 5 points behind Leicester in 3rd. Meanwhile, Chelsea are 9 points behind City and a staggering 48 points behind Liverpool. Yet, as laid out by David Ornstein, who did report this 3-year plan, Chelsea have a 3-year plan to overtake Liverpool and Manchester City and win their first league title since 2016-2017. Now, that plan is as follows. Year 1 is the idea to stabilise that squad and forge a cohesive unit with a young squad, which is essentially what Frank Lampard's done in the first year. Obviously, the Premier League will restart on the 17th of June, so looking forward to that for the Premier League to return. But the first year essentially to stabilise that squad, incorporate younger players such as your Reece James, Tammy Abrahams, Mason Mount, have all been on loan in the Championship. Billy Gilmour in the last 2 games of man and match picked up man and match performances against Everton, Liverpool, so really promising signs for him. Indicating it could be our long-term Jorginho replacement, and he was terrific, honestly. Bringing these, younger players through the team. Fikayo Tomori, who's been amazing at the start of the season, drifted off towards the end, but was fantastic at the start of the season and will be a big player for us in the future, I'm sure. Hudson-Odoi finding his feet after his long-term injury and hopefully can kick on from this next season. So there's a lot to look forward to, and that's essentially what Frank Lampard's done. He's incorporated youth alongside his, his staff, his coaching staff that have helped blood these young players into the squads with our transfer policy. Obviously, we're given that transfer ban, and build a strong core with that young squad. Your Reece James, Tammy Abraham, Mason Mount, Tomori, Gilmour. Build that strong core, pick the best youth players, and then the year 2, which is what we're about to enter, by top tier, top quality, world class players to sprinkle around those younger players, such as your Timo Werner's, Hakim Ziyech, maybe a Havertz or a Sancho, and so on and so on. And hopefully, which then leads to year 2, where it starts a challenge for honour. So this is not your Premier League or Champions Leagues. A bit too early for that. We're talking about your League Cups, your FA Cups, these kind of honours, maybe Community Shield, or securing top 4 comfortably. Because right now we are scraping top 4, but the idea by year 2 is to comfortably get top 4, ideally be around 3rd, and close that gap between Liverpool and City. And then year 3 is essentially win those major honours. So the 3rd year, by then, would make even more top tier signings, and the younger players will have more experience in Champions League and more experience overall, and we then be competing and hopefully winning the Champions Leagues and your Premier Leagues, etc, etc. But that's essentially what Frank Lampard's 3-year plan is, and what he's been proposing to brand new signings of Timo Werner and Hakim Ziyech would ultimately sway Timo Werner sign for us. Like call we had with Frank Lampard, the secret meetings pre-lockdown to Germany alongside Petr Cech, which I spoke about yesterday, how they secured Werner over rivals. So if you haven't seen that, go and check that out. But essentially, it swayed Werner. He outlaid his ambitions, his goals for Chelsea, what we want to win, where we want to be in 2-3 years' time. Selling our project, our elite project, to these top tier players, and it's worked. We're beating rivals such as United, Liverpool, City, etc. So a lot to look forward to. You cannot underestimate Frank Lampard's pull power. It's as simple as that. You can't be underestimating that. But that is essentially Frank Lampard's 3-year plan, and it really emphasises and hints what we can look forward to for the upcoming future. Now, getting to the second part, of the story, that is Michy Batshuayi, and obviously we have signed Timo Werner, and since we are going to want to sign top tier players, we are going to need to offload players to raise funds and essentially sell the fringe/deadwood players. Now, Michy Batshuayi is one of them, surplus to requirements. Now, it was written by the Express, broke this morning, the West Ham have emerged as the early front runners in the battle to land £40 million rated Michy Batshuayi, who is now surplus to requirements at Chelsea. Now, alongside West Ham, Newcastle have also been interested in acquiring Michy Batshuayi. Now, not gonna lie, the fee that Mourinho's put of £40 million. Personally, I don't think we're going to get anywhere near that fee. You know, he's not had enough game time this season. You know, he's had a lot of promise when he came from Chelsea, from Marseille, but he hasn't lived up to the expectation. He's not scoring enough goals. His work rate is not good enough. Link up is not good enough. There's a lot of poor areas, weak areas to his game. And I think £40 million is way too much for Michy Batshuayi. But then again, he had successful loan spells at Crystal Palace and Borussia Dortmund. So in that sense, and he's an established Belgium international. So in that sense, you could require a larger fee. Now with Newcastle and their takeover, that might take a bit of time, but from what I'm hearing, Newcastle are front runs for him. With the Saudi Arabian takeover, with FFP relaxed, they're going to have a lot of cash, a lot of money to spend, and it could easily happen where they could potentially sign Michy Batshuayi for about £40 million. West Ham, like the Express reporting, are also heavily interested for him as well. I'm not sure if that makes too much sense, because obviously they have Sebastian Haller that they signed last year for about £40 million, and Haller is much better than Michy Batshuayi. So while they spend the same amount, that is a question mark there. But I think that if we did sell him, we could get around £25 million. Pushing it, maybe you could acquire £30 million, but I don't see us getting more than £30 million. Honestly, I don't. But if that does happen, build Marino Sky a statue ASAP, man. ASAP, build her a statue right now. But personally, we need to be selling him. He's one of our deadwood players. You know, we need to raise funds to sign other players as well. You know, left back is a priority. I would like us to sign another attacking player, marquee signing. So we need to be raising funds. But that is what the Express are reporting. Now, getting to the next story, that is regarding Benjamin Chilwell from Leicester. Now, last few videos, last few days, I've been talking about Ben Chilwell a lot. And he is obviously our left back first choice priority, Lampard's first choice. And we have been in talks for months and months with Leicester regarding his signing. He's been on our shortlist, and we have been interested. Now, we've always had this issue of the valuation difference. Now, Don Hutchison, who is a reporter for ESPN, he basically stated in his quotes, Ben Chilwell is a no-go. That's what I was told, so don't believe anything you read in the media. He's got more 4 years on his contract, and he said, I don't see that transfer going through. And personally, this does kind of line up to what I've been hearing behind the scenes as well, is that we have not essentially collapsed in that sense, but we haven't had a breakthrough in negotiations. We haven't had a breakthrough in the past few days. There's that valuation gap, unfortunately. Now, originally, Leicester valued Ben Chilwell around £85 million, and now they're essentially looking at, they're willing to lower their asking price to 60 million minimum 60 million pounds plus. Now, Marino Sky and the Chelsea hierarchy don't want to go above 45 million pounds. Frank Lampard knows this, and there's that minimum 50 million pounds valuation gap. Now, the reason why Chelsea are not pressurising or being bullied into doing this deal is because we have that backup of Nicolas Tagliafico. So we can sign Tagliafico as our backup option of £22.4 million. So we're not going to get bullied by Leicester into paying what they want. And there hasn't been a break for negotiations. Leicester don't want him to go. They're saying he's not for sale, and they're not going to budge on their £60 million asking price. So as it stands, as I'm recording, Ben Chilwell will not happen. Tagliafico is a likely option, and personally I prefer that. I think Tagliafico is better. He's cheaper. He's in his prime. Champions League experience. Defensively, a better fullback, so leak less goals on the left-hand side, and it means we have more funds for other areas as well. So personally, I think Tagliafico would be the better option. But what do you guys think? Who would you rather down that left-hand side? Would it be Ben Chilwell or Nicolas Tagliafico? Leave me your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. And carrying on with the Ben Chilwell story now, John Percy, who writes for the Telegraph, quite a reliable journalist, stated the Ben Chilwell was Chelsea's #1 target at left-back, as we know, but there's a catch. Leicester insists he's not for sale, and they have no need to sell. Remember, this is a club, after all, who raised £170 million on N'Golo Kante, Riyad Mahrez and Harry Maguire just last summer of around £85 million. So, you know, they do hold clubs to ransom, but Chelsea have stressed they will not be bullied by Leicester's asking price. So, yeah, that's good. Looking like Chilwell, the deal has collapsed and it will be off, but stay tuned with that one. All the news and reports will be on the channel, so stay tuned and hit the bell notification. But getting into the final story, that is Timo Werner. Now, the interesting thing that I'm sure all of you guys will want to know, when will it get announced? Now, we know that it's pretty much done. All the top tier journalists have said that he is coming to Chelsea. So the question mark is, when will he sign for Chelsea? Now, Matt Law late last night stated that Leipzig are not listed on the German stock exchange, so they and Chelsea can officially announce a deal on Werner whenever it's mutually beneficial. Could be next week, could be at the end of the Bundesliga season, or when Leipzig are out of the Champions League. Whenever it is, Werner is on his way to Chelsea. It's guaranteed Werner will be signing for Chelsea, as we know. Now, as far as I'm aware, we haven't actually officially paid the money for Werner. We haven't activated release clause, which is around £53 million. Now, it's Sunday as I record this video, and I was told that hopefully early next week we will be activating Werner's release clause, And now the problem comes with the medical. You know, he can't fly to the UK because any foreigners that come to the UK have to quarantine for 2 weeks. So what will happen is he'll have his medical at Leipzig, and then Leipzig will send the reports over to Chelsea so the medical experts can have a look at the medical report. But we should be activating release calls early next week, and like Matt Law said, he's very reliable. It could be whenever, could be next week, could be in the Bundesliga season. All we know is that Werner will be a Chelsea player, and it will definitely be finalised. But there you go, going to wrap up the Chelsea Transfer Daily video for you guys. If you did enjoy this video, smash the like button, subscribe, hit the notification, and I'll see you guys for my next video. Peace.